Hey, what's up? It's your boy. Your boy here gonna talk about love bombing. And what credentials do I have to talk about that? Well, nothing really, but I am a diagnosed narcissist, so I guess I will share my experience, my take, my perspective, or whatever, all about that in terms of, okay, why do a lot of like fucking narcissistic people do this? Well, honestly, I never really saw it as a bad thing per se. Because honestly, the way I've always seen relationships is that like it's a agreed upon, thing to like stroke each other's egos. But apparently to most people, it's translated in this like language that I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Because like to me, it's as simple as, okay, you either like me or you don't like me. So what is all this about like, oh, this deep passion, this deep like connection or something? I mean, I know, those are the fancy words, I get it, but I feel like realistically, I can be honest about what's actually going on. And at least that's what I believe love bombing is. Maybe I don't understand it from like a quote-unquote narcissistic abuse victim's point of view, but honestly, like, okay, yeah, kind of like what I said. When you're in a relationship with somebody, a friendship, a romantic relationship, whatever, you're with that person, I imagine, because they go out of, their way to make you feel good. They listen to you. They offer like words of comfort. When you're feeling insecure or doubting yourself, or when something negative happens to you, then they, bolster your ego back up. And I always just thought that was like the true reality of life, but apparently to a lot of people, I don't know, there's just something more. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep saying more because I have no idea what the hell that really means. Because, okay, speaking in the case of, because from like what I've seen a lot is, okay, people usually talk about having an ex-narcissist partner, and that in particular is when they keep bringing up love bombing and all that shit. But I mean, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Because like, okay, I feel like admittedly you have to be fake to a certain extent. Because like, let's be honest, most of you are not special. Like, we're all just average, humans just living our casual fucking lives. Like when your partner's saying, oh my gosh, you're so attractive, you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen, really like fucking hyping you up. Nah, fuck that. I'm not even trying to be rude, but let's just be honest. You're just fucking average looking. Like most people. You're not particularly ugly, but you're not like the fucking hottest thing on the planet. But that's what your partner will do. They'll try to fucking riz, they'll use like all this poetic expression if they can to be like, oh, like out of everybody I see, like you hold the key to my heart. Like you're beautiful in terms of looks and personality. Why am I bringing up looks and personality? Because like, okay, I feel like I see the hypocrisy among people. They're like, oh, personality matters, somebody that like fucking cares about you. But like, if you were dating a chick and you called her fucking ugly, she'd be offended by that. Because she'd want you, I imagine a lot of chicks would want you to find her as equally physically attractive, and she would like you to also like, her character and all that stuff. But no, people get offended when you actually mention this out loud, or it makes them feel like they're trivial or something like that. Well, I can pretend that it's essentially just a role play, and I don't know why everybody else has like a fucking issue admitting that, oh, they're basically all just doing a fucking role play. Because like, I know that a lot of narcissists, even myself, have had to understand that like, okay, it's not really this like picture perfect like romance movie. Like a lot of times relationships are gonna be uncomfortable. Like a lot of narcissists, I struggle with object constancy, admittedly, because I can only see people as people that either really, really like me or they really, really fucking hate me. Because I don't know how to like accumulate, I guess, all the experiences that like I have with somebody, because I just see it as like dead and irrelevant. Because the way I see things is that, the social structure is always changing. Either I'm influencing you or you're influencing me. And whoever, is influencing gets the power and control to do so and make the other person do this or do that. Because I mean, okay, I struggle to see equality in a relationship, and I think that's naturally why love bombing occurs. I feel like and like, again, people are probably gonna think I'm projecting, but like in my shoes, I really do not see how this isn't what we're all doing. Because like, okay, in a relationship, somebody is naturally gonna call all the shots. Like, okay, well, not really all the shots, but let's say like most of the shots, because, okay, let's just say, for example, if something has to be done and there are opposite perspectives, and like one of those cases where it's like, it can only be this or it can only be that, then, you know, the other person has to go out of their way to convince the other person that, oh, this is best for our relationship if we do this. Listen to me, sweetheart, blah, blah, blah. Or like, you know, I want the best for us, so I really think that if we were to do this, it would, you know, maximize the greatest outcome. And that person may or may not disagree, and then they have to like fucking talk it out. People can talk all they want about like, oh, but there's such a thing as compromise. A relationship doesn't have to be one-sided. You can work together in order to like, you know, yeah, like what I said, like compromise. But truly, if you ask me, I think that's the fairy tale. I think that's the delusion. And here's how I think most people maintain it. Like, okay, they don't have the balls like I do to admit that like, okay, sure, someone is always taking control, or at least control is like always swifting depending on like the situation. Because like, here's the thing. You know, if we were to be like, okay, then like tally up how, like, you know, how much someone is like, I guess, making more of the decisions, or like, you know, yeah, like leading or something like that, most people are going to be like, oh, you're already toxic because you shouldn't be keeping score, you shouldn't be keeping tabs. Then I'm just like, okay, if we shouldn't be doing that, then how do you, okay, then my question to you is, how do you even know that there's like an equal level to the point where, okay, everybody's compromising? Because I'm always witnessing that within like all social structures. I think I've even said it in like my other video where it's like, it doesn't matter if it's like something good or positive, because, okay, people always have a negative connotation with like the word manipulation, but this is what I see every single person doing. It's all just manipulation, and manipulation can either be good or it can be bad. Like, if I convince you, for example, not to fucking like self-harm, then a lot of people might say that's a good thing. But like, in a way, realistically, I had to dismiss what you initially thought. I had to reprogram your psychological perspective, or like rewire how you like, you know, view the world. Because hypothetically, if I didn't, or if no one else did, you would continue, let's say, fucking self-harming, or insert whatever situation here. So I don't really see the difference in terms of like a relationship. Either I'm gonna have the control at that one moment, or you are. And how are you gonna do it? By convincing me, essentially, in a game that you care about us more in order to this. You won't say those exact words, but okay, if people are in a relationship, that's what they say, right? They wanna, like, you know, okay, maximize the goodness of, sorry about that. I'm back. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, maximizing the, you know, the goodness in terms of how much you care about me. And if you successfully do that in a way that doesn't make me feel like you're, oh, using me or like whatever, because like, see, that's the confusing thing I find about like people, is that like, oh, love bombing is bad because like they say that like it doesn't always come from like a place of like genuineness. But like, what is genuineness, I guess? And maybe you might even say, okay, I'm only saying that because I have no true sense of self, so maybe it's not something that I could easily pick up. So you know what? Fine, for sure. I mean, I get that, because I mean, I'll be the first to admit, if anyone else is going to say it about me, is that like, okay, I'm just following the best program that I believe is true. I'm using all of my social knowledge based on what I see most people do. They do this, and I, you know, try to understand the mechanisms that are like essentially holding it like together. But okay, basically what I think of love bombing is that it's social engineering. And yes, it can be used for something bad, like I don't know, like any of these cases where like, you know, you hear these stories of like people being taken advantage of by like narcissists and like all that stuff. But okay, why doesn't it apply for like something good? Because like, whatever genuine is, if you feel bad about yourself, and I, as, you know, somebody that like, you know, makes you feel better, did I not fucking social engineer you? Because they were my words that made you think, oh wait, he's right. Maybe this isn't that big of a deal. Like, you know, assuming I successfully do that, like, you know, you'll be thinking like, huh, I never thought about it that way before. thanks, bro, or like, you know, like yeah, I'm pretty sure you get the picture that I'm trying to like portray here. So ultimately, love bombing, it's serving you drugs. I get that. But I mean, let's be honest, that's what love is essentially. If this life is essentially just chemicals in our brain, like reactions to things that fucking happen and all that stuff, then basically I just need to stab you with the fucking syringe needle and keep you hooked. And you know what? Are you not doing the same thing to me? Like, how do I not feel good about myself as a, let's say, friend or partner if I don't hear a good constant feedback that like, oh, you're a nice friend, or you're a good boyfriend, or like whatever. I mean, it's transactional. Yes, that's what I'll say about relationships. It's transactional, because all this stuff, all this like lame poetry stuff that people want to say about love is just like super fucking arbitrary, and you don't even know what the fuck you're actually saying. But here's the thing that I feel like most people don't want to recognize. They think that the more convoluted they speak with love, the more deep and genuine it feels, or something like that. And I'm just like, no, bro, you just look fucking extra. You just look hella dramatic. And I'll admit it, if I'm quote unquote love bombing, then yes, I'll do the same thing, but at least I can be honest about it. I have no lies about whatever is gonna occur here. And people always talk about, okay, there has to be loyalty, there has to be like truth in a relationship. I'm like, yeah, I agree, but I mean, like, what is this idea of like eternal love, let's just say? If our relationship fucks up tremendously, you'll find somebody else. I'll find somebody else, arguably, because like, oh yeah, we're social creatures, right? So we're not just gonna allow ourselves to be fucking alone, apparently, because people need relationships, and I feel like I'm the only one that can admit this, and my other fellow narcissists, if you're watching, arguably, that like, you know, it's like love is, okay, in my honest opinion, this is what I'll say, love is the drug of egotism, like straight up. Like, okay, other drugs are also straightforward. You smoke it, you snort it, you do this, you do that. But like, where does love come from? Words. It comes from, you know, yeah, and what do words impact? Our egos, how we feel about ourselves, how good we feel about ourselves. Even if like, I don't know, you have to think that what is real, and like, again, like it comes back to the whole like, yeah, because like people think that the more convoluted they are, the more special something is, because like, oh, love isn't something you can explain, it's something that like you just feel. But then apparently you can set the parameters on what love is only when it's negative. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm evaluating like both sides here. Yes, there's the goodness of like love, the feelings it gives us of like, oh my God, somebody finds me so attractive, somebody cares about me, somebody wants to listen to me, whatever, blah, 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 and like things like that. But I mean, let's go down to the base of it. It's just biology. It's just essentially, okay, and yeah, I know not everybody wants to have kids, but like basically it's sticking people together. So it like, you know, increases their chances of like fucking and then producing more people for the upcoming generations. Like that's all it is. And then rinse and repeat. So there's nothing special about it technically. Like, oh, are you the first person to give somebody flowers? Are you the first person to give somebody a card, hype them up? Like, no, you're not. But then, oh, because it's your experience, it's something special. It's not. So many people are literally going through it. And arguably they will throughout like generations to generations, unless our species just fucking perishes. So like, I'm not judging anybody for engaging through this like mental gymnastic like known as like love, but I mean like, I feel like I don't see the problem with love bombing, because I can admit, yes, it is just shallow. It is no different than filling in a void just as much as what a drug does or something like that. So yeah, okay. That's one narcissist take on love bombing. Feel free to share your thoughts, especially if you disagree with what I'm saying, because I imagine if like a lot of you watching, most likely a lot of you watching aren't narcissists, are probably gonna disagree or have some sort of like, yes, kind of like what I mentioned, convoluted thing that doesn't actually make any sense, but because you feel like it's hard to grasp, even though you're spitballing these words. It's something special to you. Your love is special. Yeah, my love is special, and I'm putting that in quotes because it's fun. It's great to pretend that it's special. It's great to pretend that it's not just, I don't know, like another escapism like anything else up until like the day we die. But yeah, I mean, there it is. There you go. There you go. This is the end of this video.